entrepreneurs and visionaries. Welcome to another Monday Night Live training, where your journey to business success accelerates. Join us for insights, strategies, and tools to elevate your business while keeping your budget in mind. It's time to transform your passion into profit. Your host, Corey Fonville-Foster, is about to take the stage. Get ready to be inspired and empowered. The future of your business starts now.
All right, hello. Happy Monday. Let me turn this camera. Guys, it's been a long day. Oh my God. It has been a long day. Woo! We've made it. I was literally sitting here at what time was it? We started at 6, so maybe about 5:30. My eyes started to close. I was like, I gotta make it. I gotta make it. Y'all, when I tell you I set an alarm, I have Alexa in here, and I was like, just give me 10 minutes to close my eyes. And I promise I'm gonna find my energy. But, you know, I love these Monday Night Lives. I know I say it often, but it's true. It's a perfect way to kind of start the week on a Monday to be able to connect with you guys. But also, it's a great way to end my day. Yes, sometimes I get tired. Today was a full work day, y'all. It was a full work day. And this is the last thing on my docket every Monday is to talk with you guys. So first of all, shout out to you guys who join me, whether you're live or watching the replay. We do them at 6 because I'm hoping that my folks, you know, on the West Coast maybe are on their way home or something. I can't do it no later because I'm like, y'all, my eyes just get tighter and tighter. I'm like, I'm going to sleep. But that's why we do them at 6. And I love that we can connect. And I love that there is an option for replays, because every time I get discouraged and I'm like, you know what, do I have to do these every Monday? Lord behold, somebody will say that they saw me at a Monday Night Live, or they'll reference a Monday Night Live, and they're like, oh my God, I used to watch them. I need to get back on it. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, we gonna keep doing them. So I'm excited that you're here. I'm gonna find some energy. You guys keep me with some energy by telling me hello. Let me know you're watching. Hey, I see you guys saying hello. Let me know where you're from. Shout outs to you guys. Even if you're watching the replay, I go back and look at the comments. So tell me hello. Let me know you're watching, because I'm feeding off of that energy. Because when I tell you your girl is tired, it's tired, I'm like, we gonna make it. All right, we're hype. All right, but I'm excited though. Today is the last Monday in February. So we have been talking about branding all month long. And tonight, to kind of put a nice bow on it, we're going to talk about rebranding, because I think it's important. Hey, I see you, Cheryl. So yeah, we're going to talk about rebranding, because some of you may have watched this month and said, well, you know, I got this and I got that, but you may be in need of a little rebrand. Some people need a full rebrand. Some people need a partial rebrand. And so we're going to talk about that tonight. And I want you guys to not be afraid of the word brand. I want you not to be afraid of the word rebrand. It is okay. iRock Marketable Business Solutions has had many of a rebranding happen to it. If you guys have been with me for a long time, if you're an oldie but goodie, back in the day, I used to just be a virtual assistant. iRock Marketable Business Solutions wasn't even the name. I don't even remember what the first name was. I think I was still going by my first business name, which was iRock Mind, Body, and Soul. And somebody was like, you got to change the name. I don't even remember who told me that. But I was like, okay, but we keeping the letters the same, because your girl's memory was like, I'm not about to learn all new letters, and I didn't want to have to change my email. And so we knew it was going to be iRock MBS, and we ended up doing like a search, and we were like, what name should we have? And iRock Marketable Business Solutions was the one everybody wanted. Oddly enough, now that I've been in business longer, y'all, we should have shortened that name. It's a mouthful, but that's what it is, and we're sticking to it. But we've also not just changed the name of the business. We've changed our processes. We've changed so many other aspects, the visual elements. We have a different logo. Colors have changed. It used to be, what was it? Was it pink or it? I got to go back and look. It was some other colors. These were not the colors. So we have rebranded not only visually, but also internally quite a bit since the first creation of the business or the first generation of the business. And so I don't want you guys to be afraid of doing that. Do it when it's necessary until you get where you want to go. And you know, you like the business the way it is on all parts. So we're going to talk about rebranding today. That is the topic, when and how to do it right, because some of you are definitely in a season of reestablishing yourself to your audience. And so this is a perfect time to talk about that. But before we dive fully into all of that, a little bit about the company. I already mentioned it's called iRock Marketable Business Solutions. We're based out of Virginia, but we service amazing entrepreneurs just like yourself all over the U.S. At iRock Marketable Business Solutions, we're dedicated to helping coaches and consultants and small business owners achieve their goals and unlock their full potential. If it sounds like you're in the right place. Our mission to empower small business owners by helping them accomplish their goals while keeping budget restraints, skill sets, and available resources at the forefront of our minds. We totally understand that not everybody comes into business the same way. Not everybody comes into business with a business degree, with tons of finances, tons of resources, or a whole bunch of skill sets. And so our goal and our job is really to meet you where you are and provide you with the tools needed to succeed. And not just succeed, but succeed in the way that you define success, right? It's not my job to say, this is what success looks like. My job is to say, what defines success for you? Where are you trying to go? And then it's my job as a coach to get you there. All right, a little bit about me. Hey again, I'm Corey Fonville Foster. I'm not only the CEO of iRock Marketable Business Solutions, but I'm also a speaker, I'm a trainer, and I'm a certified business coach. So I guess that means I know kind of sort of what I'm talking about, right? A little bit about my backstory. I actually started off in the medical field, loved it, absolutely loved it. Didn't think I would ever leave, but I have a rare eye condition that caused me to have to take a step back from work, take a step back from school, and to find a new path. And entrepreneurship was that new path for me. And I'm not going to give you the long story. If anybody ever wants to hear the long story, you let me know. But the short of it is that I found a gap in the market, and I realized that so many amazing small business owners, they have amazing products, they have amazing passions, they have amazing stories, but they lack the support and knowledge to market their business and get in front of their target audience and make a living wage with their business. And so that is what I set out to help them do. And I think we've done a pretty good job. We've been around for about 6 years, and we have helped so many amazing entrepreneurs from coast to coast and into Canada. Shout out to my Canadian folk, but yes, into Canada as well. And I just love seeing the growth that helping these amazing entrepreneurs can have. Because the cool thing about me and who I help is when I help one of my coach clients or my consulting clients, they go and help more people, and it's a ripple effect. So I know that I'm not just impacting one life, I'm impacting many. And that's what kind of keeps me up on a Monday after a full day of work to come and talk to you guys. I'm like, yes, but I know that if I do this talk, it'll help at least one person, and that person will go out and help more people. So again, shout outs to you guys who are here. If you are new to the company and you're like, what do you guys actually offer besides these free Monday night trainings? I like to tell you, this is not a sales training by any means. We do these completely free. We don't expect you to buy anything. If you need something, let me know though. So let me we have coaching programs from 1 hour power hour coaching sessions to group coaching to one-on-one coaching. We have consulting packages. So if you are part of a bigger organization that needs some support with your team, you need some leadership training, you need some operational management type things, then we are here to support you. We also have marketing services from just a little bit of social media support all the way to full-blown social media management. We have virtual assistants. So if you're ready to scale your business and you need some additional people to be on your team, we have those people trained and ready to go. And then we have what we call our a la carte services. Maybe you just need a video edited. Maybe you just need a flyer. Maybe you just need a website. We are here to support you in those needs as well. So now you know what we do. If you want more information, you can definitely go to iRockMarketableBusinessSolutions.com. I know it's a mouthful, but it's iRockMarketableBusinessSolutions.com. You can check us out there and see all the amazing things we have to offer. But let's get back to why we're here tonight. We are going to be talking about rebranding, when and how to do it right. Let's take a sip. All right, we're ready to go. What are you going to learn tonight? We're going to talk about, my phone said no. we're going to talk about when you're going to need to rebrand, because I think it's important to talk about when. So, because some of you truthfully haven't launched because you're constantly in a rebrand mode. You initially created your business, but it never fully launched, and you're just changing it. We want you to stop doing that. We're not talking to you when we're saying rebrand. You need to launch. But some of you are in need of a rebrand, so we're going to discuss that a little bit. We're going to talk about the rebranding process and what that may look like. And then we're also going to talk about measuring the impact. So once you make the changes, making sure that those changes have a positive effect on your business and on your bottom line, because that's the whole point of doing it. I don't want you guys out here doing anything in business willy-nilly. I want you to be doing it based on data, based on knowing where you want to go, your goals that you've set, the milestones that you put in place, the action steps that you put in place, and then making sure that you're monitoring and adjusting as needed. All right, so let's get into it. Rebrand. All right, so what is a rebrand? Because I want to start with the definition, and you're going to see some pictures in this presentation. I'm not going to talk about one company in particular, but I did put some photos in here to show you guys some images of companies who have done rebranding. Some have done huge rebranding, some have done very small, some have done mostly visual, some have done deep dives into their rebranding. So you might want to check them out in your free time and see how they did their rebranding and why. But anywho, rebranding happens when a company changes things like its logo, its slogan, its vision, its mission, values. It can even change its name. It may have changed its target audience, or it may jump markets to build a new brand. And the whole point of this, right, is to change the way their audience sees them. They're not just doing it for, lack of a better word, shits and giggles. They're doing it because they want to change the perception that their company has with their target audience or their partners, collaborators, things of that nature. That is the purpose of a rebrand. If you're rebranding because you once just thought your brand color was green, but now you want it to be blue, why? Why? It needs to be a reason. And usually it goes to the heart of, what does the public see or feel about your company, and does it need to be adjusted? Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be a negative. It could just be, like, I used to be known as a marketer, right? Like, I was known as a VA, then I was known as like a marketer type person, or a social media manager. And then when I really went into coaching, we took a whole year to change all of our wording and our graphics and everything to be like, coach. I had to tell my clients, I'm a coach. Like, everything was switched to coaching, so that now, oddly enough, if you're just joining us and you ask somebody who I am, they're going to tell you I'm a business coach before they tell you I'm a marketer or anything else. Because truth be told, I'm not really a marketer. I'm not. That was just something that was kind of thrown on me because I didn't have a title in between VA and coach. But yeah, so it doesn't have to be a negative. It just could be you have evolved, we'll say. You've metamorphosized, yes, that's the right word, into something else. And now you need to tell the public what that is. So don't think it has to be, oh, people hate my company, I'm going to change it, or something's really bad and I have to change it. It just means there's a need for a shift in the understanding that your target audience, your collaborators, your partners have of what your brand is, who they support, and how they do it. So hopefully that makes sense. And if you have questions along the way, throw them in here. I'm always telling you guys, shoot your shot, whether it's something I'm talking about or not. I can always come back and answer your question later, or I'm known for sending a DM. So don't feel like you just have to watch me talk. You most definitely can engage. So let's talk about the parts of a brand. And we've been talking about branding all month. So if you want to deep dive into these things, definitely go check out the other Monday Night Lives for this month, because we deep dive into a lot of things. I talked about color theory. I talked about logos and fonts and all the things, brand identity earlier in the month. But let's just kind of go through them a little bit. So brand identity, that's the visible elements of your brand, such as color, design, logo. This identity distinguishes your brand in your customer's mind. So when you think of Target, I've used that a lot because I like me some Target. But yeah, the bullseye. When you think of Nike, the swoosh sign, the phrase "just do it." You're thinking about the font. I'm sure you can picture the Target and the what's the other one I just said? Target and Nike in your head, and on your screen you see Pizza Hut. I'm sure even if I didn't have it on the screen, I said Pizza Hut, you would be able to picture that logo, or dominoes and things of that nature. You can picture it. You can picture the font. You can easily recognize it. McDonald's golden arches. You can picture that. All right. It's not just about the logo, though. It includes, like I said, colors, fonts, and any visuals created that are distinctive to that brand, right? So anything that's associated with it. In Target, they have the bullseye dog. If any of you've seen that, or they have like those like round balls that sit in the front of Target. Like even if the Target word wasn't on the building, you would know it's a Target, right? You would know it's a Walmart, right? Because of the blue and the yellow. Like, so these are things that are easily recognizable to that brand. Then you have the brand image. The customer's perception of the brand is based on their interactions or experiences. This is the image, right? What image does your brand have? So let's think Salvation Army. What image do we have in our minds of Salvation Army? They do a lot of give back. Some of you who've been in Salvation Army might say like Salvation Army camp, things like that. So the perception of very charitable. I don't know if you guys even realize that Salvation Army is a whole church. If you've never been inside, it's a whole church. But when we think of Salvation Army, we think of charity. We think of giving. We think of the people on the corner or at the like Walmart shaking the bell and, asking for change type of thing to give out. We think of Angel Tree. That is the brand image. We also have the brand personality. That's a set of kind of like human characteristics attributed to a brand. So an example might be Apple innovation, right? Because it's a tech company. Jeep, so that's the Jeep company. Ruggedness, right? You think off-road. I've never driven a Jeep, but when I think of that, that's what I think. Disney, right? Magic, fun, castles. That is a part of their brand's personality. Brand positioning. So this is how your brand is perceived in context to the competitive landscape. So how the brand is specifically positioned against everyone else. And we can kind of go back to Walmart and thinking about when you think Walmart, and no shade, by the way, we have to, when we talk about this, we have to think in general terms. Don't take offense to stuff I say. But when we talk about Walmart, if you close your eyes for a moment and think of the people who go into Walmart, what it looks like, and let's say maybe about 10 o'clock at night. You know what I mean? I have a friend who went to Walmart one time and she called me and she was like, I can't take it. She said, it's just so loud. She said people in their slippers, pajamas, scarves, head bonnets, whatever. And it does matter, I guess, where the Walmart is located. But Walmart has a certain type of comfortability, we'll say. Not everybody will, dress super, super duper casual, we'll call it. But you wouldn't turn your head in shock if you saw somebody in pajamas at Walmart, because that is just how it is. Because Walmart's about, hey, we're affordable. You gonna get in, get out, and we got everything. Like, that's the brand. That's their position in the market. They are a superstore where you can get anything from makeup to Pampers to milk. You can get everything in between. You can get stuff for your car. You can get toys for your kids. You can get a cell phone in the back. They're a one-stop shop, and it's supposed to be kind of affordable. And they're not judging you, right? They're almost like Planet Fitness. You get in, get out. Let's talk about Planet Fitness. When you think of Planet Fitness, when you think of the Planet Fitness gym versus the rest of the gyms, you think about the fact that they're not huge bodybuilding people in there. They're regular people. For goodness sake, I don't know if they still do it, but they used to give out pizza at Planet Fitness. But they're like, yeah, we're not going to have these big gym guys. They don't have huge weights that you can lift. It's supposed to be a no judgment zone where you can come in and kind of get a start in fitness if you're not like a super power lifter, right? You can even maybe take a few classes or something like that. That's Planet Fitness. That's their position in the market. They're not the gym for everybody. They're the gym for the average Joe, right? Average Joe gym is basically Planet Fitness. So you have to think of your brand and say, where's your brand position and does it need to change? Go back to my business. I'll be very transparent. When I first started out, I was really trying to get kind of that new business owner, just starting out, barely any money type of person. I wanted to be perceived as the face of my brand as the girl next door, very relatable, very humble beginnings. And all that's still true. However, what I realized is that the people that I tend to help the most and the people I enjoy working with the most, tend to actually be doing business for a little bit. They tend to can afford my higher level ticket items. We're able to do more work. We're able to work faster, and they're able to get all the bells and whistles that I can offer. They tend to bring me the most joy. And so now when I market, not that I don't take people just starting out, but I typically market to those individuals, right? I kind of change my brand positioning. No longer do I show up in my pajamas. I miss those days. And I even have an old video of me like in a shower cap chilling in pajamas. No, now I throw a little makeup, try to look decent. And it's because my brand positioning changed. It was a conscious choice of sharing less of the raw moments and more of the polished moments. They're all real, and I want you to be clear about this. I'm not changing who I am as a person, but I'm saying, okay, now when I'm in pajamas, I'm not going to record. When I get dressed, I will, or I'll make sure that, I take time to pull out some outfits so I can be dressed, so I can show up how I want to be perceived. So again, they're both real. Corey still is in pajamas and a shower cap, was in there yesterday, but you guys just don't get to see it because again, the audience now that we target and we push towards are those who would not be okay going into Walmart with pajamas on. Okay, so let's just be clear. They're both real, but you got to think, where's your brand positioning amongst your competitors? How do you want to be perceived? Some of you may be in a need for rebranding that part of your business. And I just want you to remember, please be authentic. I don't want to see you in a private jet if you're not flying private jets. I don't want to see you in a mansion if you're not living in a mansion. Okay, but I also don't want to see the reverse. I don't want you to look like you're poor and you're not either. I want to see you really out here being who you are, but making sure that you are going to be able to connect with your target audience. Okay. All right, next we got our brand voice. The brand voice, and we talked about this a lot in a previous talk, but this is kind of the attitude and the values that you've communicated through your brand messaging. How does your brand sound, right? Consistency in your brand voice helps reinforce your brand's identity and your values, and it helps communicate with your audience to help them understand who your brand is and who you're speaking to. You can have a brand voice that's I call it buttoned up, very professional. You can have a humorous brand voice. You can have a silly one. You can have a laid back. I just met with a guy a couple of weeks ago. I think I might have mentioned him in my last Monday Night Live, but he owns a community called The Hounds, and he markets himself, right? His position is that he's like a redneck, and this is his wording, redneck like coach. But it's more when I talked to him, because at first I was like, what is that? But when I talked to him, it was more like, hey, I'm a dude who's like out here, I like to be out here outdoors. I'm an outdoorsy man's man. And that's just kind of how I am. That's why the group is called Hounds. And he's very just, you see him, he has on like I don't even know what to call it, but like the hat that, the guys wear to protect them from the sun, like the plaid shirt, like the whole thing. He talks with a country accent, and you can look at his brand over all the platforms. And you're like, yep, he looks the same on LinkedIn. He looks the same on Facebook, and it's consistent. I saw a live he did, and he was with some professionals, and he was still that guy out in the country. And so his brand voice speaks to that. It's authentically who he is, and I love that for him. So I think when we think about our brand voice, we also have to think, how does our brand communicate? What is the tone? What is the vibe of our brand? Does it need more consistency? Does it need a shift? Again, I definitely was out here, y'all. I wasn't ratchet, but I was just out here in a very just relaxed way before. I think now we are a little bit more buttoned up, but we still are. I say it's not just it's me, but my company is more buttoned up in general now. Because again, it's the clientele that we engage with. They need a little bit more button up, but behind closed doors, we still have a good time. All right, then you have your brand vision and values. Now, this is an area where it tends to not shift. I think most of the time it gets more clarified. When you start, you may have not thought so much about the vision and values that you have for your brand, but as your brand grows, you may want to solidify these because these are kind of core principles that make up your brand. I haven't seen huge shifts with anybody else's visions or values. when they've done their rebranding. It's not typically the place where you see big things. They may, again, clarity. They may say, we support these groups of people. We help more marginalized people. It just gets tightened and clarified. Let me see. Do we have any more? I'm just looking at my notes here. I want to stay on target. Your brand experience. This is like the feelings, the behaviors, responses that your brand invokes in others. I haven't seen, I put this in the slide because I wanted to make sure I mentioned it. But again, this one isn't so much of a change that I see people use, but you may need a little zhuzhing of this. And then brand communication. This is the last one. The method and channels used by a brand to communicate with the audience, including like your marketing, your advertising, your social media, things of that nature. This sometimes needs an overhaul. I've had people who love to just stick to one platform, and I'm okay with that at first, but a lot of times we need to streamline across multiple platforms to really connect with our audience wherever they are. So you may have to do some refiguring, some rebranding to figure out how to consistently fit on all of the major platforms, how to also translate that to your website, how to also translate that over to appearances and things of that nature, and then how to communicate that with regular clients. So you want to make sure that your tone, all the things we've already talked about, are consistent, not only through social media, but through any marketing that you have. You don't want to seem like fun, clowny in one place and super serious in another. They should be pretty consistent so that when people do connect with you, they know what they're connecting with. So these are the parts of the brand that you kind of need to think about. One, if you're just starting your brand out, but definitely if you're thinking about rebranding, look and see what areas you really need to rebrand. It may be all of these areas, but it may also just be one or two, and that's okay as well. All right. So we're going to talk about some different reasons why someone might want to or feel they need to rebrand. So it could be a shift in the company strategy or target audience. An example of this is a tech company initially focusing on things like hardware solutions, but then they decide to shift towards software and cloud services to meet a growing market demand. So you as a business owner, you as a coach, might have started in one area of, let's say, wellness, but then you see that there's a new trend, there's something going on that you actually fit better into. And so you make a shift to support those needs of that growing market. All right. There was a show I used to watch. What was it? Pose. It was a really cool show. And I remember how there was a dancer on that show. And he, this was like a poor guy. And Vogue came out with Madonna. And so he started teaching Vogue classes, and they got so hyped, and he was like putting on more and more classes. And then when it died out, because, the trend died out, they were like, okay, we don't need any more classes. And then he had to kind of rebrand and figure something else out for himself. That happens. I don't want you to follow every trend and rebrand every time. But if something is really, and this is why we have to look at the data, if something is really calling you and you're like, you know what, I really can help these groups of people, a rebrand may be necessary to shift the company strategy to help a specific target audience. All right. You might have outdated or negative brand images. All right. That may happen. So let's talk about like a fast food chain with a reputation for unhealthy options might rebrand to highlight a new menu featuring healthier options. You guys remember when McDonald's came out with what was it? It was like a grilled chicken wrap. It was like wraps. All of a sudden, I think one of the wraps, it was either McDonald's or Wendy's, like had no bread. It was like you get a lettuce wrap. And they didn't call it a lettuce wrap, but it was like, hey, no bread. And then Wendy's changed their fries. I forgot what they used to be. They used to be bomb. Now they're like, whatever. McDonald's used to have the mystery nuggets. They were so good. They would stay moist forever. And now they have like white meat nuggets. They did it because as a country, culturally, we shifted from not caring about what our food was made out of and just wanting the convenience to being more conscious of what is in our food. What are we doing? I don't want to be eating, like, if I'm going to eat this food, I want to, have a healthier choice. And so companies made shifts in their marketing and their commercials and the names of their products, showing us the calories. They didn't always show us the calories and everything, and now they do. So that's a shift, and that's part of a rebranding strategy. And I'm giving you some quick ones that you can think of, but I promise you businesses big and small have to go through the same thing. Another reason why you may want to rebrand. Now this, you may need to be a little larger, but mergers and things of that nature, big company changes may need you to make a rebrand. So after a merger between two major airlines, this is an example, the new entity undergoes a rebrand to unify the brand identity. I actually experienced having to deal with the rebranding when, who was it? Sprint was bought out by T-Mobile. Hurt my heart, hurt my heart. But yeah, they were bought out, and they said that basically, you know, for us little Sprint customers, they said, you know, well, you'll have better service, and that's what they pushed. And then they were like, you know, we'll kind of grandfather you in, but then they still moved us all to T-Mobile. So it was a gradual shift, but they realigned Sprint with T-Mobile. It was a merger, and a lot of things changed. I don't know if I would say for the good, but that was definitely a reason for rebranding. All the Sprint icons went away and T-Mobile was there. They sent us new SIMs cards. They did a whole bunch of emails and text messages. And even when you went into the store, you had to go into a T-Mobile store. It was a whole thing. But yeah, I guess it was successful. They're still doing business. And recently when they had that outage, what was it, AT&T? My phone still works. So shout outs to them and their rebranding. Another reason why you may want to rebrand is market competition and differentiation of needs. An example of this would be a consumer electronic company facing stiff competition from an emerging tech brand. They decide to rebrand, focusing on innovation and customer experience to pull themselves apart in the market. So you may find yourself really struggling to find clients, even though you're really great, because there's just too many other companies, or maybe better or older or more equipped companies in your niche. And then you have to rebrand to kind of find a space for yourself. That was kind of the whole positioning portion. So don't be afraid of that. You may have to shift. And this picture works for this one, because back in the day, MailChimp used to be the thing when it came to email marketing. And then, I don't know, maybe 2-3 years ago, GetResponse gave them a run for their money, and then these all-in-one platforms started coming up, like the Karters, the Kajavis, the Teachables, the Thinkifics, where people who would have historically used the MailChimp were like, oh, but these places I can do my website, and I can do my email, and I can do my landing pages, or I can get more emails for less at these other places. But then MailChimp was like, well, hold on now. They then went and said, well, hold on, we can add some more features too. Now, MailChimp, I think, in my personal opinion, still has some ways to go, but they did add that now you can get like a website on MailChimp and some more other cool features, because they're trying to do something so that they can set themselves apart from their competitors and say, wait, we really have some cool features for email marketing. We have better analytics. We have this, we have that. They did do a little rebranding of their logo as well. You can see it in the picture, but they tried to reposition themselves in the market as not just an emailing campaign platform, but also they have those other features that people were looking for. So they can kind of put themselves higher in their arena. So those are just a few reasons. Now you just may have a calling on your heart, and I'm not going to knock that either. That makes you say, you know what, I want to rebrand, and that's okay too. I just don't want you guys constantly rebranding, and I don't want you rebranding over things like, oh, I think I like this logo better, or I think I like this color better. I've had to have real conversations with clients before, and I've said, you know, I have a thing that I say, and people have to get to know me to understand, like, I'm very cut and dry with certain things. And I'll just say, does that really matter? Does it really matter? And they're like, huh? Because they're passionate about why this color should be green and not blue. But does it really matter? We already have a logo. You pay for it. It's already everywhere. Does it really matter? The whole point of it is that people can recognize the brand and it's consistent. You know, does it really matter? And if it really doesn't matter, then we leave it alone and we move on to things that are more important, that's going to get us to where we're trying to go. So I do not want everybody out here saying this is the Lord telling me to rebrand. It's not. It's me saying that there may come a time when you may need to rebrand pieces or all of your business, but there has to be a legitimate reason that's backed in data and information that's causing you to rebrand parts or all of your business. All right, don't get me out here getting you caught up. I said it ain't for everybody. All right, so first, let me talk about this picture here, and I probably should have made it bigger, but sometimes people rebrand, I feel, out of pressure. And I just want to touch on this for a second because I feel like that's what this was. Aunt Jemima syrup. Now, there are people on many fences with this rebranding, but if you don't know, Aunt Jemima was some banging syrup. And it used to have a beautiful lady on the boxes and on the syrup bottles. And I don't know her. I don't think she was a real person. I think it came down to she wasn't a real person, but okay, whatever. But either way, the people, I don't know if it was Black History Month, I don't remember the reason why, but somehow the people thought that Black people would prefer them take it off because I guess they said maybe they felt it was a caricature of the trope about like the Black woman with like the big lips and the you know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And so they took her off. Now, first of all, sometimes people do very performative acts. And I think this was more performative than it was necessary. I don't think the Black community cared. It was some good syrup. We don't know this woman. It was a picture. And it also kind of was like, hey, in an aisle where there's not a lot of Blackness displayed, I actually appreciated that, hey, the syrup I had a Black woman on it. But they felt pressure by whomever, and they made this change, and it was a big hoopla, if you remember. And to this day, every now and then I see a post like, what happened? Nobody told me that they took the lady off the syrup. Well, there it goes. They rebranded and took the lady off. She'll be missed. But yeah, that's an example of rebranding as well. So I just wanted to give you a couple examples of rebranding. Another one, I think I have a slide that has a picture of it coming up. But recently, I was in Atlanta and I went to the Coca-Cola museum. If you haven't gone, you should go. There's one in Georgia. There's one in, I believe, Vegas as well. But in there, at least in the one in Georgia, when you go in, the first thing they talk to you about is the branding. And they talk about how the branding has changed over time. The commercials, you can actually see it. And throughout the museum, they share more about the branding, not just branding in the US, but like branding worldwide, which I thought was absolutely amazing. I think every business owner should go. One, enjoy the Coca-Cola from all the countries, but also because it is pretty much a master class in branding and sustainability over generations, because you have to think how long Coca-Cola has been around. And yeah, they have gone through many of rebrand and have sustained. So definitely check that out. Because I was there with the kids and they were enjoying all the drinks, but I was really learning. I'm like, wow, they did this, and they tell you why they did it and when they did it. And I was like, okay, I can see the progression. And I think it'll help you understand brands in a whole new way that's very in your face and easy to access. But anywho, I'm all about implementation. So let's talk about kind of a process or a method to do a rebrand. Because again, this is not God telling you to do it now. I'm going to say it again. It's not. So let's talk about it. So the first step I say is research. Conduct thorough market research and internal research before you start any rebranding. Now, this means look at the data you already have. If you notice a dip in business and you're saying this is why I need to rebrand, or you're saying that there's opportunities, that's why you want to rebrand, or what have you, collaboration reasons. Maybe you are putting your company and a friend's company together. Do your research before you start the rebranding process. Get as much data and information as you can to solidify your decision before you begin. Make sure you have a plan in place. Next, you're going to identify. So define your new brand's identity, mission, and values. Kind of go through that other slide we did, kind of saying, okay, what are we going to rebrand? Because we might not have to rebrand everything. Like we might be able to make some things work the way they are. The less we have to rebrand, the better. Because most of you are probably on multiple platforms. You already have a website. You already got emails going out. You do not want to have to deep dive into that. One, it's time consuming, but it's also costly. It's costly. Somebody has to do all of this work to rebrand everything and put it out there to the public. All right. D is for develop. You're going to develop a rebranding strategy that includes visual and messaging updates. So you're actually going to say, okay, let's plan it. Where are all the things that we need to change? How are we going to rechange it? What is the timeline? And how are we going to do it? When I went to changing that I was, a coach, it was a big thing. I said, okay, I need to have coaching products. I need to tell my clients I'm now a coach, let them know why we're shifting. I need to change my contracts. I need to change the website. I need to change my emails and make them, I think initially we made it like more 50-50 with coaching and marketing. Now it's probably 90% coaching and like 10% marketing. But yeah, all that, take new photos because now I'm more the face of the business because I'm the head coach. It was a whole thing, but we had to sit down and say, where do we need to make changes? How are we going to do it? And what is that rollout going to look like? Because it wasn't all at once. It literally took about a year to really solidify myself to even past clients that this was the new way we were going to go. And then to also explain it to my current team, because I had marketing people that were working with us and we were doing a lot of marketing. But in order for me to make the shift, I had to downsize how many marketing jobs we did because they took up time so that I could focus on coaching. And so we had to have those tough conversations like, hey, bear with me. We're making some changes, but we're not going to leave you. We're going to be in this together. So that was some conversations we had to have on the backside as well. So don't just think, oh, logo on the front. Backside as well. You need to have buy-in by your whole team. You need to tell your family members, like, it's about to get real. I'm about to spend a lot of time working on my business, fixing some things and updating some things. Everybody needs to know and be on board. All right. E is for engage. Engage your stakeholders, communication changes internally and externally. And I kind of spoke about that already. Making sure that everybody that needs to know is in the know. A lot of times people forget to tell their customers. Tell your customers. So one, they're not like, what the heck just happened? But also because they're your biggest referrals, right? I want them, when they go tell people about me, to be like, hey, tell them that, I'm a business coach. Because what was happening was my older clients be like, yeah, that was my VA. And I'm like, well, I'm not a VA anymore. I'm not a VA. I'm actually a coach. And it was kind of awkward, but I did stick to my guns and say it. But yeah, you want to just make sure you are saying it as much as possible, whatever the shift is, so that now everybody knows and there's no confusion. And then R is for the rollout. Go ahead and roll out the rebranding across all your channels consistently. Make sure that they're consistently, and make sure you have that timeline of the rollout. You don't want to do something in January to rebrand and then nothing happened in February and then you pick it back up in March. It's like it needs to be consistent, and sometimes it has to be gradual. Unfortunately, sometimes we can't just overnight it and like you take your website down and then it pops back up and everything is different. It usually takes a bit because it not only has to happen, but it has to be solidified in the minds of your audience. And that's the part that takes a while. It's not that we can't, shift everything social media wise and website wise, but it's also like it just takes a while for people to get a hold of, oh, this is a change and okay, I get it. All right. So that's some of the process that I want you guys to think about. And I would even add, and we'll talk more about that. Actually, we're going into it right now. Measuring the impact of your rebranding efforts. And there's a picture of Coca-Cola just with some of the logo styles and things that have changed from, 1886 to 2007. It's even more than this. I just gave you a quick picture so you can see the differences that they've gone through. But yeah, it's important after you do the rollout to measure the impact of it. So you want to monitor your brand awareness and perception through things like survey, listening to feedback. When I went into coaching, there was a lot of feedback that I got, good and bad, but needed regardless. And we've talked about being open to feedback in the past. A good entrepreneur is always going to be open to feedback. But you also, when you're rebranding, you should be asking for it. Preferably, you should even ask for some thoughts beforehand. Like I said, when we were going to change the name of the business, we asked our audience what they thought the name should be, so they were a part of that process. And then afterwards, it was on everything. We were just constantly putting it out. And like I said, it took a while for people to be like, oh yeah, there she goes again. You want to analyze things like website traffic, engagement rates, conversion metrics to make sure everything's okay. There may be a dip. For us, it definitely was. I was like, oh, did we make the right decision? We ain't got no clients because contracts were ending for our marketing clients, and it took a while again to build up this coaching following. And so it was scary for a little bit. And I'm not going to say it wasn't. I was looking at my assistant. My assistant was looking at me. My teammates, my freelancers were like, what's happening? It was a thing, but we made it through because we stayed the course and we knew why we were doing it. And we were also prepared, at least in a sense. Going through it, you feel differently, but in a sense, we were prepared. We knew they were going to be probably some months where we weren't doing super hot and we just had to kind of weather the storm. So just make sure that you're analyzing all the data that's coming in during that time and adjusting as best you can. And then evaluate your sales and customer feedback as well, pre and post the rebrand. Like I said, it was so important for us to get feedback, and I'm still getting feedback now. We're in the process. March, we have and that's crazy. March is in a couple of days, but we have a new launch coming, and the whole point of capping the number of people that are allowed to get in it is the fact that I need the feedback before we let more people come in, because I want it to be right. And it's easier to get feedback when you're really only focused on a select number of people versus having just whomever. And I also want to make sure they're the right people for that offer, because then they have the best chance of succeeding, utilizing the material, and then also giving me that feedback. Adjust and refine your strategy based on that feedback and performance. So don't just hear it, make the changes. All right. So that's some things that I really want you guys to think about. Hopefully this whole month you got a better idea of what brand is all about, right? You have an understanding of not only what branding is, but how it impacts your business. If you found that there were holes in your business and into your branding, hopefully you've been able to seal up those holes and make those needed adjustments. And if you did watch this one, this Monday Night Live, and you're saying, you know what, I probably need to look and see if there's some areas that I need to rebrand or solidify, then I hope that you do. If this was helpful, but you're like, girl, I can't do it on my own, we are here to support you. Again, this isn't a sales training type of message where I'm like, bye, but we are here to support you. And I would be just in the wrong if I didn't say we are here to help you. You can just comment below me. We will happily reach out. A lot of you DM me. I'm fine with that too. Shoot me a DM. My team answers those as well. You can definitely put in the group if you're in our private community. Ask about me. Plenty of my clients are there. If you're not in the private community, get over there. It's a free private community on Facebook full of amazing. Where are we at? I'm looking. I have you on my other screen. I think we're at around 1,400 or so amazing entrepreneurs in that group. So hop on over there. I'm thinking about maybe starting one on LinkedIn, but y'all, your girl don't have a lot of time. So we'll see. But that's one of my maybes for the year. Also, if you're not following us on YouTube, get over there, because we have done, and shout out to my team, we have been able to put, I think, almost every Monday Night Live from 2023 over there. So there's extra resources for you guys. There's also just additional trainings over there. And our podcast, if you want to watch the podcast with our amazing experts, those are over there as well. So if you're not already liking the iRock Marketing Business Solutions YouTube channel, definitely hop over there. We've had a video go out almost every day this month. And I think we have an every day until the middle of March. There's a video. So definitely hop over there, support us on all the platforms consistently. But yeah, let us know if you need support. I know you may be watching this from Facebook. You may be watching it from our general Facebook, our private Facebook, our LinkedIn, our YouTube, wherever you're watching from. Whether you're watching it live or replay, definitely make sure you comment, engage with this content, like it, share it. And then also let us know what type of other trainings you want. I do have a schedule for the year, but your girl's not afraid to pop out a new training just because. So definitely let us know. And again, reach out if you need support. That's literally why we're here, is to support you where you are right now and make sure that we can help you monetize your passion. But all right, guys, that's it. We made it. Your girl made it. I'm tired still, but we made it. It is, we did. And I talked for a while. So I talked for almost 50 minutes. Let me go. You guys have an amazing night. Remember, I rock, you rock, we all rock. And I will talk to you guys soon. Have a good one.